A few years ago, seeing a Tesla on a Chinese street still felt unusual. It was modern, high-tech, and easy to recognize. Today, stop at almost any traffic light in a major Chinese city, and the Tesla may be the least surprising car there. Stop at a traffic light in Shenzhen, Shanghai, or Hangzhou, and you might see a BYD on one side, a Li Auto behind you, a Xiaomi EV in front, and maybe a Tesla somewhere in the middle. That change happened very quickly. Tesla was once the company teaching China what a modern electric car could look like. Now, Chinese car companies are selling more electric vehicles, launching new models faster, and competing with Tesla in markets far beyond China. So how did China go from following Tesla to overtaking it? The simple answer is not that Chinese companies built one car that was better than a Tesla. They built an entire electric car system around it. Tesla proved that electric cars could be desirable. Chinese companies figured out how to make one for almost everyone. Let us start with the cars themselves. Tesla's strategy is fairly simple. It makes a small number of models, especially the Model 3 and Model Y, and sells them in many different countries. That gives Tesla a huge advantage in manufacturing. Fewer models mean simpler factories, fewer parts, and lower production costs. But the Chinese market developed in a very different direction. Chinese companies started making cars for extremely specific groups of people. Need a cheap car for driving around the city? There are small EVs for that. Need a comfortable 6-seat SUV for your parents and children? There are several brands competing for you. Want a luxury electric van, an off-road SUV, a sporty sedan, or a car with a refrigerator and a large television inside? You can find those too. This might sound excessive, and sometimes it is, but it means Chinese consumers are no longer asking, should I buy a Tesla or a gasoline car? They are asking, which of these 20 electric cars fits my life best? That is a much more difficult market for Tesla. The Model Y may be a good car for many people, but Chinese companies are trying to build a different car for every type of customer, and they can do it very quickly because of China's supply chain. When people talk about BYD overtaking Tesla, it sounds like one company defeating another company. But Tesla is not only competing with BYD, it is competing with a large network of Chinese battery makers, electronics companies, software teams, factories, and parts suppliers. Many of them are located close to each other. A car company can test a new battery, change a screen supplier, redesign parts of the interior, and put the updated version into production much faster than before. And because so many suppliers are fighting for the same business, prices keep falling. This is one of the biggest misunderstandings about Chinese electric cars. People often say they are cheaper because labor is cheaper. Labor costs do matter, but they are not the full story. The bigger advantage is that almost everything needed to build an electric car can be found inside the same industrial ecosystem. Batteries, motors, electronics, charging equipment, software, and complete vehicles are all being developed at the same time. BYD takes this even further. It makes its own batteries, many of its electronic components, its power systems, and the complete car. So when BYD wants to reduce costs or change a design, it has control over more parts of the process. But there is another reason Chinese companies reached so many customers. They did not force everyone to immediately buy a fully electric car. This is especially important in China. Many people live in apartment buildings. They may not have a private parking space or their own charger. They may also need one car for both daily commuting and long trips during Chinese holidays. For these customers, a pure EV can still feel risky. So Chinese companies offered plug-in hybrids and range extender vehicles. You can use electricity for normal daily driving, but if the battery runs low during a long journey, the car can still use gasoline. For many families, that feels safer. It lets them enjoy the quiet driving, fast acceleration, and technology of an EV without completely changing the way they travel. Tesla mainly sells cars to people who are already comfortable with pure electric driving. Chinese companies also sell cars to people who are interested in EVs but are not fully ready yet. That gave them a much larger group of potential customers. Then there is the competition inside China itself. From the outside, China's electric car industry can look like a success story. From the inside, it looks more like a survival game. New models appear constantly. Prices can change within months. A feature that was considered luxurious last year might appear in a much cheaper car this year. Companies are also competing over screens, charging speed, driver assistance systems, interior space, and even how comfortable the seats are. If a new car is disappointing, Chinese customers will discuss every problem online almost immediately, and if a company moves too slowly, buyers have many other choices. This pressure creates problems. Some companies launch too many cars. Price wars reduce profits. Some brands will probably disappear, but this brutal competition also forces the surviving companies to improve very quickly. Tesla helped create China's electric car market, but it is now competing against companies that have spent years fighting inside one of the fastest moving car markets in the world. Of course, government policy also helped. China supported electric cars through subsidies, tax benefits, charging infrastructure, and policies that encouraged companies to invest. Without that early support, the industry probably would not have grown this quickly. But government support alone cannot build a successful car industry. It cannot guarantee that people will like the cars. It cannot automatically create good batteries, reliable factories, useful software, or competitive products. The government helped create the conditions. Then competition and industrial scale took over. More people bought electric cars. Factories produced more of them. Costs fell. Prices became more attractive. And that brought in even more buyers. It became a cycle that kept strengthening itself. So has China completely defeated Tesla? I do not think that is the right way to describe it. Tesla is still one of the most important electric car companies in the world. It still has a powerful brand, strong engineering, efficient vehicles, and major advantages in software and charging. But Tesla is no longer defining the entire market by itself. In the first stage of the EV revolution, the question was, can an electric car actually be better than a gasoline car? Tesla answered yes. Now the question is, can you make the right electric car for every budget, every family, and every type of driver? That is the question Chinese companies are trying to answer. Tesla made electric cars exciting. China turned them into a mass market industry, and that may be how the follower eventually became the competitor. What does the electric car market look like in your country? And do you know anyone who is already driving a Chinese electric car?